So, 4 issues in and I'm iffy about Spider-Man working in a dystopian society where he's been retired for a while, wears a dark suit and doesn't make jokes. That all sounds kind of like not Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows issue 4 by Dan Slott with art by Andy Kubert. Previously in the Regency, a domain on Battleworld, the Avengers were wiped out by a guy called the Regent. Except for Spider-Man, who was busy saving his family's life or something. So Peter, MJ and their daughter Annie go into hiding, until they are eventually forced out of hiding and into conflict with the Regent. At the end of the last issue, Spider-Man was fighting the Regent's Shitty Six, whilst Mary Jane and Annie were taken by mysterious forces. We open with narration by Annie about how her parents were always telling her what not to do. I know, Annie. It's like you set one kid on fire. I like this little opening a lot, actually. It's probably my favourite scene in the book, as it paints a perfect picture of Annie. Curious, heroic, and occasionally an idiot. Just like her dad. That's cut short, though, as we cut to now, where they are being kidnapped. Not by the Regent as they fought, but by the remains of S.H.I.E.L.D., run by a mysterious guy with an eye patch. And I hate to ruin it for you now, but it's Hawk Dick. Dick-Eye. Hawkeye, but he's being a dick. Spiked Spider-Man, who is just finishing off the Sinister Six. Which isn't surprising, because they boast Shocker as a member. Shocker, guys. He's the guy you shoot a sniper bullet through to hit Spider-Man. He's then confronted by Sandman, who is now working for S.H.I.E.L.D. Obviously this happened after he drifted away as a cloud in Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe confirmed. So yeah, the Regent turns up, and it's official, I fucking hate the Regent. He narrates his every attack, pointing out which hero he stole it from, and calls himself God. But he's not villain evil, really. He's just kind of a knob I hate reading about. He beats them handily, boring, and we cut back to MJ and Annie. She demands that S.H.I.E.L.D. gets Spider-Man back, but Dick-Eye earns his nickname. Spider-Man left us in our time of need. I lost an eye. I can see why Bendis kills you so much. What was Spider-Man gonna do in a fight where Nova failed? Literally ripped Annihilus to shreds Nova. So she reveals that they have inhibitor technology to hide Annie's powers, and the S.H.I.E.L.D. lot say it could be used to defeat the Regent. Back to him, he walks Spider-Man and Sandman around monologuing, even dropping a Darth Vader at one point and discovering the location of the S.H.I.E.L.D. base. The sinister shits quickly attack, but that's barely important in comparison to the Regent's motivation. He plans to take on Doctor Doom, and he needs Spider-Man's powers because they would allow him to avoid Doom's every attack. You realise he's God, right? He doesn't attack, he smites. And you think Spider-Man's not that great in comparison to other heroes' reflexes is what you'll need to turn the tide when you have the powers of the entire Avengers and X-Men? Did none of them have fast reflexes? So back in the S.H.I.E.L.D. base, Annie basically brings down half the Sinister Six by herself. Yep, because they're shit. And this issue ends with the reveal that Sandman has one of Spot's portals inside him, allowing the remaining Avengers to attack the Regent's base. And Annie and Mary Jane just kind of tag along. I really liked this book at first, and I don't really know what went wrong along the way. At some point I just realised that this isn't a goddamn Spider-Man story. None of his recurring cast appear outside of MJ and Annie. The villain and tone are wildly different to a usual Spider-Man story, and frankly Peter barely feels like a character, let alone himself. On top of that, this book has been called by Marvel Editorial and Dan Slott himself the last Spider-Man story and the most controversial book of the year. Feels shockingly low rent. The villain is just a random new overpowered asshole who doesn't really tie in with Peter at all. The Sinister Six are a lame bunch of mooks who serve as something to be beaten repeatedly, and the plot is overwhelmingly dull. What was in my eyes one of the most promising Secret Wars tie-ins has turned out to be incredibly disappointing. And Dan Slott is still writing Amazing Spider-Man after Secret Wars, but not the obviously in every way better Silver Surfer. Wow, there was a lot of negativity in there. Let's try for some positivity. You could subscribe, that would be positive.